Today we're talking about the last three movies that I've watched. Was the Transformers movie, Renfield, and the Meg 2. We talked about Spider-Verse 2, but that was too controversial. But now we'll be talking about movies again. The next two movies I think I'll be getting is The Sound of Freedom and Equalizer 3. But yeah, we'll be talking about these three movies. First is Transformers, The Rise of the Beasts. Considering the fact that, Michael Bay's movies were bad, this movie was obviously much better than Michael Bay's movies. Maybe except for like the first one. I think it is one of the better Transformers movies. You know, it's sad that the box office wasn't too good for this movie because of Michael Bay's scar on the franchise. But this was definitely a pretty good Transformers movie. This movie really focused more about the Transformers story, not really much about the humans. They were just kind of like accessories. You know, they were just there, okay? This movie, kind of like the Godzilla movies would be. The Godzilla movies would be focusing on Godzilla and King Kong. These would be the main characters, not the human characters. The Transformers should be the main characters. And they did a really good job with this movie. The CGI, it really looks like they spent a lot of money on this movie. Unlike, most of the Disney movies, okay? Most of these Disney movies, it doesn't look like they spent a single penny on this movie. And they still are left with this awful CGI in this movie. This movie looked very, very impressive. It looked very, very great. It looked much better than probably than the Little Mermaid. Oh yeah, it definitely looked much better than the Little Mermaid movie. It looked much better than the Marvels. It looked much better than Quantumania, okay? You know, I watched both Quantumania and I watched the Little Mermaid remake, and both of those were awful. Okay, this movie was much better than them. I think the only reason this movie didn't make money is because it didn't do well in China. I know this movie did the worst of any Transformers movie in China, but yeah. Next movie is Renfield. This is a movie that released earlier this year. No one watched it, and it was kind of like a funny movie. You're basically the guy's like, I'm sick of you, Dracula. Okay, I'm gonna be my own man, and Dracula's like, you're my slave, and he just kills all these people. And at the very end, he brings back all the people that Dracula killed. He's like, you know, and they defeat Dracula. Okay, and then there was this evil guy who's like a part of this evil company, and he recruits Dracula. And he can't really kill Dracula, they just sealed him. Okay? Which means Dracula will one day come back. Which means if this movie actually made money and they make a sequel, 100 years later, some guy brings back Dracula from some ungodly reason. And Dracula commits terror on, let's just say, they bring it back to, like, South America. And they commit terror in, like, Brazil or something. But yeah, that's about Renfield. It was an okay movie. It wasn't anything special. It was much better than Quantumania, though. But next is the Meg 2, the last but not least movie. The Meg 2 was far worse than the first movie. Okay, the first movie was much better. I did like the final fight scene, but again, it is a final fight scene. The first movie is basically like about, we need to protect the Trents and the Megalodon. And, again, this movie is already basing it off the conspiracy theory that the Megalodon somehow still lives in the Mariana Trench. Like, no, it doesn't. There's no Megalodons in Mariana Trench, okay? But the first movie was better than the second one, okay? The second first movie was far better than the first one. Like the first half of the movie, didn't understand. It was hard to follow the movie, but yeah, that's it about this video here. So, did he see any of these three movies, or did he like them or not? And that's it about this video here. Goodbye.